Alright, so the big moment. This is the new S2000 I've got as my new autocross and track toy. You hear the kids yelling in the background. I am recording this with the garage open outside, trying to get some shade. We're now in San Antonio, Texas, and it's hot and humid. So trying my best to stay as cool as I can. But here's the car. So what is it? I've got my phone out for notes, so pardon that. It's a 2008 Honda S2000 CR Delete model. For those of you that don't know, the CR model was a special run that they did towards the end, last few years of production, where they went and they put some active aero, like this piece down here, a wing in the back. They put extra chassis stiffening, no soft top, just a removable hard top, a cool tonneau cover, some extra lightweight stuff, etc. It's an uncommon model. They're pretty sought after. This one is the Delete model, which means no AC and no radio from the factory. So don't worry, those of you out there that are into the collector side, we didn't cut up a perfectly good car. This car was originally a repo that the previous owner got a hold of and managed to, it already had some issues, so he fixed it up and he turned it into a CSP class autocross car for SCCA Autocross. Not just any CSP class autocross car, but this one got 3rd and 5th with the two different drivers at Nationals last year. So it's a very fast, very capable car. And I'm very blessed to be able to get a hold of it for my personal use. So what makes it a CSP car? So CSP, C is the kind of class level and SP is the preparation level, so street prepared, which allows quite a few things. I'm going to hit some highlights, but there's more to this car than just what I'm talking about right now. So, first of all, it's got the Password JDM intake, and you'll see more of this stuff when I do the walk around. A port matched and polished intake manifold, a Burke header, a custom 3-inch exhaust. It started life as a Burke exhaust, but it's got a different muffler and some other stuff done to it. It's got the Flash Pro for tuning. It's tuned on E85, C85, and E98. C85 is VP's kind of racing E85, and on that it makes 252 wheel horsepower, which is about 50 to 55 more than my old car made. This is also much lighter at about 2560, whereas my without driver, whereas my old one was at 27 flat. So it's 140 pounds lighter while making 50 or 60 more horsepower, which is a big difference. It's got a OS Geiken rear diff tuned by John Lugard. It's got the AP1 transmission swapped into it, and the reason that's done is it has a taller 1st through 5th gear than the AP2 transmission, which gives you a higher top speed in 2nd, which is a big advantage in autocross. It's got Penske double adjustable coilovers. It's got a Sparco QRTR driver's seat and a super lightweight Kirky passenger seat. It's got 18 by 11 Apex rims here with Hoosier 315 millimeter wide Hoosier A7s, so big meaty tires. It's got the stock CR bumper, but there's also a splitter that gets added under here. It doesn't stick out any further than stock. That's a class requirement, but it gets lower and gets more air out from under the car. Not mounted right now because you can't get on and off the trailer without it, and right now I can only drive it on track and autocross. It isn't registered yet. That's going to take a little bit. It's got a big, like NASCAR style rear spoiler. This autocross class allows you to run OEM wing, but for aftermarket it only allows the big spoiler, and especially at autocross speeds the big spoiler gives more downforce than the stock CR wing. And there's a lot more done to it. That's kind of just the highlights. The car's wrapped. There's mismatched panels underneath. I wanted a car that I wouldn't feel bad beating up at track and autocross, and here it is. So, and there's also some wrinkles and stuff and some minor dents and dings. It's not a perfect car. But it is wrapped in this kind of matte, goldish, yellowish color with gray gloss in the back. You'll see more of that in some of these pictures as well as in the walk around, and you'll see pictures intermixed throughout this. So what am I going to change? Well, I'm going to swap in one of my Cobra Nogaro passenger seat from my old car to replace the Kirky seat, a little more comfortable for a passenger in that regard, and it can be set up in a way that's more safe than the current setup. The seatbelt extension comes out a little further than I'd like, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to change the number. It's currently 77. I'm going to change it to 66, which is the number I usually run. I'm going to add a flex fuel sensor and tune it for flex fuel. I'm going to plan on mostly running on E85. It does make like 15 more horsepower on E85, but I want the option if I'm out driving it and I'm low on gas and there's nothing else available, I want to be able to put a little bit of pump gas in and be able to get home. I'm going to get a second set of wheels, same size, the 18 by 11s, and I'm going to put some either 275 or 285, haven't decided yet. I have to figure a few things out first. Tires on it, those tires are going to be street and like track tires, mostly track but streetable. The Hoosier A7s you don't really want to drive on the street. I'm going to, the tint is coming off on the windows. I'm going to get that replaced. The windshield is cracked. I'm going to replace that. I'm also going to add my phone and AIM Solo 2 mounts to the car so I can use my way of doing data acquisition. What am I considering changing on top of that, but haven't decided yet? I'm considering a roll bar like I had on the old car. Some pros to that is it's safer on track, it allows you to run harnesses, there's more tracks it allows you to go to, etc. But in this autocross class rules, if I pull stuff out in order to add the roll bar, I have to add more weight than I take away. So I have to make it a little heavier if I'm adding the roll bar. So I got some decisions to make in that regard. The other issue is I lose the CR tonneau cover. You'll see some pictures of it on an autocross course with the top off, so you can see what that looks like if you're not familiar. I'm considering a wing that I can swap in and out with the spoiler, so I take it to the track, I can run a wing. I kind of want to run a couple track days with it just as is, and see how I like the spoiler on track before I make that final decision. And I'm considering changing the wrap-up. This car is very well known with its original owner, Mike Lohman. Some of you may know him or know of him. So I'm considering, well, do I leave the wrap the same so that it's obviously the same car? Do I change it up so it doesn't just look like him? What do I do? I haven't really decided. The color itself doesn't photograph very well, but it does look pretty cool in person. I do enjoy it, so I've got to decide whether I want to change that up or not. So I really don't know. So let's do a quick walk around. Alright, so here it is from the outside. Kind of coming in here. You can see those 18-inch by 11 wheels. The wrap down the side. You see the hard top, which again is fully removable. It's usually run without it for autocross. Got some various decals on here, so rear fender flares. Here's that NASCAR style rear spoiler, and these struts are adjustable, so I can adjust the angle on this. To look down the back, you can see that the gray parts are glossy. That gut splitter's got a funny story. The original owner would always leave the hardtop on the trailer at Autocross, so that sticker was to remind him to pull the splitter off the front before loading it on the trailer, because there's not a trailer on earth that this thing will make it on with the splitter. Here's get the cable for the battery tender out of the way here. Open the door. You see it's got a removable MPI steering wheel. It's got the QRTR seat and the Kirky seat. You can see a little bit of that tonneau back there. I'll put in a picture of that shift knob, but it's got a really cool image on it. It's kind of funny. Coming around this way, you can see all my daughter's stuff. You probably saw her a few minutes ago pulling into the garage on her bike. You can see it's got the Hoosier and the SCCA and all the Autocross stickers on it, and the tire rack, tire banner. Opening the hood here, you see my battery tender across there. Get the Password JDM intake. You got the Burke header down there, a tiny little battery for weight savings. There's one of the Penske damp remotes. There's the other. In addition to the manifold, as I mentioned, this throttle body comes off, I think it's an Acura MDX or something, another drive-by-wire Honda product that allows more airflow in as well. You also got the radium fuel return on there. There's a air oil separator going into a catch can, which is right now for weight he just set it up as a Gatorade bottle, but there's also a radium catch can I can add in if I want to run the actual catch can. I've got the battery tender to keep that tiny little battery charged up so that it'll actually start when I want it to. Very important in that regard. Move this up here. Just close this just too. And like I said, it's got to stay on a battery tender. The trunk area inside there is all stock. But yeah, this is the new Track and Autocross toy. It's got a front toe point on it. Going down the other side, looks just like the first. So my new CSP class 2008 S2000 CR Delete.